In my New England Patriots 2023 draft class analysis and highlight video, I gave the 6th round pick Demario Pop Douglas an A+ because of his talent, Patriots' need for a wide receiver, and the value of getting him in the 6th round. I got some criticism for this because I was being a bit overzealous about Pop Shotta, and I was told that he wasn't going to make the team. Well, I will concede that I am beyond enthusiastic about Demario because he was one of my favorite guys in the whole entire draft class, and I was overjoyed that they were able to steal him in the 6th. Why? Well, I saw Pop at some East-West Shrine Bowl practice tape and then examined Zay Flowers and instantaneously assumed the Patriots would take Demario in the 5th or 6th round instead of going after Zay or Tank Dell. He is nearly equal in size, speed, and is very, very similar in playing style. Yeah, I wouldn't say he was as good as Zay or Tank, but his value in the 6th made him an A+, and he is still my second favorite pick behind Christian Gonzalez. Yeah, I went to the A+ level for Demario because for me, I see Demario as that Patriots quick, sudden slot receiver that I labeled as a spark plug for the offense, and possibly a valued contributor for special teams. Most of all, I thought out of all the players drafted this year, Demario has the best chance to bring a unique talent for Mack and O'Brien with his 4.4 speed and elite leaping ability. Well, the spring and the preseason practices have cemented my conviction in Pop Shotta, and hopefully some of my early critics are ready to jump aboard the hype train for the 2023 season. In this video, I wanted to provide a brief overview of Pop Douglas and then dig into why he has the potential to not only make the team, but possibly see significant playing time this upcoming season and ultimately becoming an elite receiver for the Patriots in the future. First, let's talk measurables. Now, Demario is a very unique athlete. His height is 5'8", his weight's between 180 and 190. His hands are 8 3/4, his arms are 30 1/4, wingspan 72.5 inches. His 40-yard 4.44, his 20-yard split 2.54, 10-yard split 1.54, shuttle 4.29, 3-cone 7.05, his vertical 39.5, 91st percentile, his broad 11'2", 99th percentile. His bench was 12 reps. This gives us a RAS of 7.26. Again, a reminder, Pop's RAS was better than Jordan Addison, Jaden Reed, Tank Dell, Trey Palmer, and several other receivers drafted ahead of Demario. Now, why am I so bullish on Demario? When watching film on Pop Douglas, you will instantly appreciate his athleticism. He is very explosive off the snap, which lets him to rapidly stem his route. Douglas is also very skilled at changing directions on a dime during his route and after the catch. He is small, but he uses this to his advantage and is skillful in keeping up a low center of gravity by sinking his hips and separating from defenders. He shakes defenders almost effortlessly. Moreover, he has a nasty pen cut and a speed cut. His agility and footwork is deadly in small areas and keeps defenders guesstimating where he wants to go. He also has a great talent for anticipating defenders moving in on him, as he regularly evades defenders in open space. He has vision. Demario has great game-breaking acceleration and speed, which he exhibits when defenses slip up and give him soft coverage at the line and no safety help over the top. Pop will find open space and can locate an open crease to make a big play, something that is also evident in his kick and punt return abilities. When the ball is thrown his way, he shows good body control in order to make catches outside his body frame. If the ball is thrown above him, he shows that he can go up and catch the ball at the high point. When I first saw Demario on film at the East-West Shrine Bowl, I instantly thought about his ability to release with such a small frame and body weight. Well, he's very good at quickly stemming his routes. I wanted to readdress one of Pop's elite's talents, which is not standard for all NFL receivers. This is his ability to pretense or preload his lower body prior to the snap. Pop pretenses his lower body to build tension to be released on his initial movement. He creates back pressure with his lead foot while still keeping his front knee directly over the middle of his foot. This lets him put pressure on his back foot and legs so he can burst off the snap. You can tell he does this because there's little to no latency and doesn't require a counter move to load his lower body. Instant acceleration. This forces the defense to close out on him, where he can throw a double move during his route stem and he's gone. Douglas has a tremendous head fake, which is more than an upper body fake, which forces the DB to flip his hips, and Douglas bursts in the other direction, and that's all she wrote. I did some analysis on Kendrick Bourne and went into detail about how he lacks this aspect in his release. Yet, Demario has essentially mastered it. The only other guy on the team that has a better first step than Pop is probably Malik Cunningham, and it isn't for the same reason. Of course, there are concerns such as his height and weight, and I get that some people would be concerned about him being isolated in the slot position due to his height. Well, his nearly 40-inch vert showed up on tape where he was able to play on the perimeter and go up in contested catch situations. When making catches along the sideline, he does a great job of keeping his feet in bounds and is able to tightrope for a big gain. This guy can play just about anywhere. The other apprehensions people would have, which is he's below average hand size, but once again, he has eased those concerns with his tape, where he demonstrates his incredible grip strength to make catches outside his frame. This allows him to consistently come down with the ball when up in the air. When the ball is thrown behind him, he does a good job of turning his body and pulling it in. Now, Demario's yak ability is what really can make him a threat. When this dude gets the ball in his hands, he's very elusive and greasy. He will destroy on screen passes. After securing the ball, he just snaps his hip, squares up, and allows him to dodge defenders and get upfield swiftly. In the middle of the field, he is insurmountable. Good luck getting him down quick after the reception, especially when he's hit in stride. He has that big play ability that can change the tide of the game. So how will the Patriots actually use him? I think his primary role is still to take over the Marcus Jones role on the offense and possibly take some of the special teams responsibilities and possibly be the second punt returner. I like having Marcus out there on defense and special teams, but I think we might see him take on more of a role as a slot corner this season, especially if Jack Jones' situation forces Jonathan Jones back outside. So I don't think Marcus will have the time and energy to be thrown into those offensive packages where he was inserted last year, especially if Bill O'Brien is looking to expand upon those packages and some slot-specific play calls. Yes, we already have Juju in the slot, Gesicki is there, plus Bourne and Thornton spending time there as well. Now, there's a whole bunch of people saying, well, he won't play in the slot, we have all these guys, we already have Juju, we already have Gesicki in there, plus you got Bourne and Thornton spending time there. Oh no, we already have a slot receiver, he's not going to get any playing time. We don't need a slot guy if we already have Juju and all those other guys. What are you, like 12 years old playing Madden? The beauty of the slot position is that you can have several different types of receivers coming out of that area on the field. Sometimes you want a guy like Juju. Sometimes you want a guy like Gesicki. Sometimes you want a Thornton. Sometimes you want a Pop Shotta. These guys cause mismatches and either are a great target or they are opening up an opportunity for another receiver. You don't just stick your starters out there the whole game regardless of the field position and defensive personnel. There will be a rotation and times when Demario will be the best option to put in the slot or some other alignment. Now, like I said in my previous Demario video, I would like to see if Bill O'Brien can use Demario's game-breaking speed and agility in the backfield. Throw him in motion prior to the snap, put him at the Z receiver so he can go in short and intermediate routes both inside and outside. Like I mentioned in previous Demario videos, I think Douglas should be used in jet sweeps, as well as including one of my favorite plays when you have two really fast receivers, which is a fake crack weak jet option strong, where you are in a cluster bunch formation out of the gun, where you are showing a toss crack towards the bunch with Stevenson, with Thornton being in orbit motion prior to the snap. Mack fakes the handoff to Thornton, but Demario runs the jet sweep under, where Mack tosses the ball to him. Thornton mirrors Demario in a pitch phase towards the strong perimeter. Demario can keep or use Thornton as a pitch option if the defenders jump him. Now, before you get all the, you can't do that because of this or whatever you have, I'm simply showing you that you can use two quick athletes that have success running jet sweeps and the immense amount of gadget plays O'Brien can throw in there. Another idea I proposed in my first Demario video is putting him in the backfield using a QB split zone bubble screen RPO, where Demario is in a pistol offset and Henry is the sniffer. Demario goes in motion, which will give us a read on the wheel backer prior to the snap. If the wheel backer stays put, you go with Demario on the bubble. You go with Demario on the bubble behind Parker and Gesicki, and Henry hitting the edge. If the wheel goes with Demario, Mac can just keep it or even go with a screen and go with Parker for a touchdown. Easy. Another simple idea to deploy with Demario is what is called pony personnel packages, which is essentially 2 running backs in the backfield. But it would be Demario and, say, Stevenson in a split back gun formation. This can give you a variety of options to get the ball in Pop's hands and allow him to use his punt and kick return skills out of the backfield. Yeah, I know he's not a running back, but giving him a few extra yards to establish speed with his quick step will force the linebackers to commit earlier, and he would have an easy break for separation. Or you can actually toss the Pop out of the backfield with Stevenson lead blocking and taking advantage of Pop's return skills and finding lanes at full speed. You got to get creative this year, and Pop could help you out. Yes, I don't expect these plays or concepts to really be employed, and much less a cornerstone of the Patriots offense, but they do illustrate how Douglas could open up a lot of options for New England this season. Once again, I have to stress that New England Patriots have to win the mismatch battle this year. Pop has the characteristics and skill set that creates mismatches and can cause havoc on the defense. They will find more than one use for him. They kind of have to. Now, let's take a look at some tape. First off, before we get started, these video clips are coming from CLNS Media. Those guys are doing an amazing job with covering the Patriots. Thank you. All right, looking at some Pop Douglas tape from camp. Looks like we've got a drill here. All right, the defender has some inside leverage here. That means the QB is going to be off to our right. All right, so we're going to look for, he's getting ready to press him, so we're going to look for Douglas to have a nice solid release to his right. Good. Nice. Good. Nice pen cut there, too. Another one. Good pen cut. Notice how he drops his hips. Comes out, drops his hips. And that's done with his inside leg staying bent. And he plants off his outside foot. It takes that vertical speed, momentum, and transfers it laterally. All right. So here's one with the coach. He's going to be straight up, right? So we're not getting any leverage. So how are we going to get the release? He's going to move his left foot to the inside, slip it right out. He's going to blast right past him, right? So he's going to make the defender commit. Boom, step. Nice pen cut. All right, so let's watch the footwork, and then we're going to watch that pen cut. Loads, sticks his foot out. Now watch how he drops his hips. That left knee stays bent. And then he replaces. Perfect pen cut. That's an elite step. All right, so let's slow this down. Let's talk about this penultimate transition, this pen cut. It's an elite cut. What we're going to focus on is that left knee, okay? Notice how it stays bent as he's going to roll forward, and it's going to transfer that energy to the right side, allowing him to blast right off it, right? So left knee stays bent, and he's going to push down and forward into that knee. So he's trying to almost drive that knee into the ground. Again, he's going to transfer that energy into the right foot, okay? Then when he plants that foot, that energy essentially stays there, and then you can replace the right foot with the left and push off, and you're gone. Beautiful, smooth. Here we go, watch. Boom, left replaces the right. Right steps over. Essentially, no loss of speed or momentum. And it's all because that left knee rolls forward, and that allows that energy transfer. Nice solid cut, replacement. Perfect. Ooh, nice speed cut. Here's another one we can talk about. All right, so the speed cut, nice big elite Euro step cut, all right? It's one step. So here it comes, plant, left foot plants, nice solid stiff left leg, Notice how his weight's still on his right, though. Okay, now he's just going to do a nice little head fake to the left, and now allow him to drive off without any speed loss to the right. Okay, boom. Good catch, eyes, secure, see ya. All right, let's see that a little bit more. Here we go, real time. Boom. Make note, no loss of speed really, right? Nice footwork. Ooh, that's a good one to notice. All right, yeah, let's look at the footwork, but again, the idea of eyes and secure. Bringing it in, seeing it, secure the ball. There he is out here. Nice little bubble screen. Simple little head shoulder fake there, but that's enough. Boom, see ya. Plants the leg, keeps the weight over the right side. Again, right there. Eyes and secure. Elite. The major takeaways from these clips is that Demario's route running ability is going to be elite at some point in his career due to his ability to transfer energy into his plant leg and redirect without loss of speed or momentum. This guy is running routes at full speed and doing 90-degree cuts without losing anything. He's like an RC car flying around a kid's playroom. In addition, he does show good mechanics prior to the snap by keeping his legs and back foot loaded, where he explodes off the snap and is able to quickly stem his route better than most NFL receivers. In addition, he gets even more dangerous at the top of his route stem, where he can use several moves to manipulate the opposing DB's hips. He can take off in another direction, leaving defenders embarrassed. After making a catch, he does a good job of making defenders slip, and he blasts in open space. Now, I don't see anyone on the Patriots roster that has this skill set. Yeah, maybe Juju, but it's not at the level that Pop has. The guy has embarrassed some D-backs in camp, and that is saying something considering our secondary. It is clear that Demario has big playability, which has been an issue for the Patriots for a few years, and it's nice to have that type of player in the building. Now, I'm not saying Demario is going to be the first guy out there against the Eagles, and it's not even 100% that he'll even be on the roster. But I would be ecstatic to see him because I know O'Brien has a plan for him. It's not running a flat or a slant or a simple comeback. Demario's here to be a looming nightmare for defenses and a spark plug for the offense. Now let's go over some things you want to watch in this development. We got our first preseason game on Thursday, and we should see Pop out there. There is not a lot of clips of him playing at practice up against some tight man coverage with press. Can he be physical enough off the line? Yeah. He will probably be in the slot most of the time or coming out of the backfield or in motion, so he won't have to deal with the issue a lot of times. If he can deal with man press, you're looking at a massive steal for the Patriots because it means he can play just about anywhere in the formation. Not only does this improve his performance, but also expands his versatility and prevents his presence on the field being a dead giveaway to defense of what's going about to happen. After determining that the corner is in man coverage, Pop will then have to figure out what leverage the defender is playing. If the cornerback is playing on outside leverage, Pop will have to have a difficult time running an outside route such as a fade. If the corner is playing inside, a slant is going to be hard to pull off in time. So a corner's leverage will govern how Pop plans to attack him, which is why it's the utmost importance to collect the data pre-snap. Typically, receivers can decipher a corner's plan constructed on his alignment, but that isn't always the situation. When a corner's positioning isn't glaringly obvious, there are other ways of extracting the data. Defensive fronts can also provide indications. 4 and 5 man pressures have specific coverage rules, and the number of linebackers prowling in the middle of the field can influence receivers' routes and opportunities. You also have to look at the safety structure for traces of information and see what they are going to do before it happens. Whether a team is going to use 1 or 2 high safety determines where a cornerback can get help from teammates. D-backs are going to play for their help, so if Pop can see that, he's going to be able to develop a plan of attack once they start to break the huddle. A single high safety often means he can manipulate his split to put even more stress on the cornerback. For example, if he has a single high safety, Pop should expect the corner to have outside leverage because he has help inside, right? So if Pop has an inside route, he should try to widen as much as he can because he knows the corner has to essentially keep widening with him. Because the corner is supposed to be protecting the outside because the safety's helping inside, not out. So that's just creating more and more space from the inside help. Essentially, Pop is expanding his area of opportunity to catch the ball before the safety can engage him. Very simple, but not always the case for every NFL receiver. Once Pop determines the leverage and structure of the defense, he needs to turn his attention to the corner and his tendencies in certain coverages or positions on the field. Some corners like to be aggressive in specific circumstances and others not. Some will use a two-hand jam as a substitute for one-hand jab, contingent on their alignment. Some corners will hold their leverage several yards down the field, regardless of how wide out threatens them. Some long corners with a 33.5-inch arms can really hurt smaller guys because they can sit inside, use their outside arm, and use that to stick the small receiver on the line and postpone the release. Some specific setup situations to look for is if Demario is set up in the slot with the cornerback matched up outside of him, if Pop is to run a slant on the play, which should be a doable based on the corner's outside leverage, but instead of immediately sticking his foot in the ground and breaking to the inside, we should see Pop do a quick stutter step outside before knifing back in. This should prevent him from going inside too early, thus unlocking his ability to make that inside window a little bit bigger to allow Mac to toss it in there, which will be needed. This is the type of route and release that the offense is going to rely upon with the current state of the offensive line and Mac's below average velocity. The other thing we need Pop to do is a tactic called getting even with the cornerback. It is a simple idea. No matter where the corner's lined up or where the receiver's trying to go, the goal is to get even or really parallel with a flat-footed defender. There are two main goals with that method. The first is to scramble the corner's beliefs and expectations about the route and play. The second is to generate an even playing field that puts any conceivable route in play. At that point, the receiver essentially has removed any advantage the corner has on him, and Pop would have the advantage of creating separation the instant he makes his second move because he knows where he's ultimately going, which should win out every time. You could see this happen when the D-back has both feet on the earth at the same time, and the receiver's subsequent move requires an instant reacceleration, which will be slower than Demario, who's still moving. Other things to look for is if he can have a decoy route or a generic approach that doesn't tip the defense. We need to see if Pop can do that. An underrated skill is having a perfect balance between properly setting up routes to put stress on the defensive back and going fast enough to stay with the quarterback's timing. It is great if you can get separation and run the route, but it still has to be in sync with Mac. We also need to see a variety of releases, efficient moves at the top of routes, and see if he can run a route how it's intended. And at the top of the route, will he throw something in there to shake some of the best corners? These are just a few things to watch for on Thursday, and hopefully we can get some confirmation that Pop is as good as I expect him to be. Hopefully, I will no longer be labeled as being overzealous on Pop. So what do you think Pop will do on Thursday? Will he make the team? Can he be the ultimate gadget player? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.